And just last week, we told you about a bill that is making traction in Tallahassee that would do away with Florida's no-fault auto insurance system that's been in place for decades. That means if it passes, we would be an at-fault state, and Florida would join 38 other states who have an at-fault-based system. Now, the bill's sponsor argues that would cut down on fraud and could save drivers money in the long run, but opponents, including Governor DeSantis, says requiring more coverage would mean higher rates.
And so that's the concern of me. I don't want to do things that are going to raise rates.
I want you to know that we are very sensitive to that. That might be one of the driving forces. But overall, we believe, like other states, it will bring the rates down when you get the major source of fraud out of the system.
So bottom line here tonight, would repealing no fault lower your car insurance rates or not? Going in depth, looking for the answer tonight, ABC Action News anchor Nadine Yanez after a viewer reached out to her.
Looking back at his own accident, a viewer named Roger emailed us after he saw this story saying he doesn't want to live in a no-fault state. Quote, "The driver that hit me in a crosswalk got away with no fault." It does come at a time where state lawmakers are looking at repealing Florida's no-fault state. So not only are we speaking to drivers from out of state, but we're also looking at studies to see how this could impact you down the road.
Oh yeah, Michigan's out of control.
Be ready for some genuine reaction.
You're paying how much?
About $1,700 for the year for 3 vehicles, full coverage.
When these out-of-state tourists visiting Clearwater.
We are paying $3,500 for 2 vehicles.
For 2?
Yeah, for 2.
Hear how much on average Florida drivers pay in car insurance.
So Florida right now is averaging $4,100
For how many?
for one car per year.
Wow. I guess Michigan's not so bad.
Here in Florida, full coverage, $4,100 on average.
Wow, crazy.
You rode on the highways lately around here?
Even Melanie Gadd's husband had to jump in.
Did he say?
He said, "Have you guys rode on the highways around here? There's a reason why you pay that much."
It's also why some state lawmakers are looking to repeal Florida's no-fault insurance system and moving to at-fault instead. The difference explained by Insurance Information Institute spokesperson Mark Friedlander.
No-fault states, each driver's own insurance covers their own injuries and medical costs, regardless of who caused it. So even if the other party caused it, no fault means you file with your own insurer. At-fault insurance means the at-fault driver's insurance coverage will cover injuries and property damage to the other party.
But with at-fault, bodily injury coverage would be required. More coverage equals higher rates, he says.
The last thing we want to see is, number one, higher rates, and number two, more uninsured motorists. 1 out of every 5 drivers does not have insurance coverage. The last thing we want to see is more drivers uninsured on the roads.
In fact, Central Florida personal injury attorney Coretta Anthony Smith agrees. You don't see that often in the insurance world.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Nadine, this probably is not in line with other plaintiff attorneys.
She's also not in support of changing Florida's no-fault to at-fault.
No matter who's at fault, the first $10,000 of your medical bills are paid. You know that you have somewhere to go. And if insurance rates go up and you have to decide over food, eggs, and car insurance, you're going to pick food.
Both she and Friedlander pointed me to this 2021 study done by state insurance leaders when lawmakers tried to repeal this then. It showed the at-fault system would increase premiums 13% for all coverages combined, or an additional $202 a year. But we go even further in depth, listening to drivers from other states. This family's from Michigan.
I kind of like the no fault.
And Henry Forshey from New Jersey.
Completely no fault, yeah.
They both live in no-fault states.
Basically, you have a lower standard of payments, but at the same time, and your coverages and your medical, you really might have to fight for what you're getting.
But Melanie from Ohio,
I think that's the way it should be.
prefers at-fault.
Florida's no fault, meaning no matter what,
You pay for your own vehicle, and it's not even your fault, so that's not fair.
Why is that?
Because it wasn't your fault, and then your insurance goes up because someone else hit you.
So state lawmakers tried to do this in 2021, but it was vetoed by the governor. We'll see what happens this legislative session. In the meantime, if you want to take a look at the study to see how this would impact you if it passes again, I posted that under this story on abcactionnews.com/insurance. With photojournalist Josh Whitston, I'm Nadine Yanez.